some Boeing 737 MAX 8 jets have been grounded. AP photo, Richard Drew. A growing number of airlines around the world have grounded their Boeing 737 MAX 8 jets following the crash of an Ethiopian Airlines plane that killed 157 people on Sunday. Around 384 passengers bound for Dublin were stranded last night in the U.S. after their flights were cancelled due to concerns surrounding the Boeing 737 MAX 8. Norwegian Air, which flies the MAX 8 from Dublin and Shannon airports, cancelled routes from Dublin to Providence, Rhode Island, Newburgh and New York. Boeing has already stated it has full confidence in the safety of the plane, but the European Union Aviation Safety Agency issued an emergency airworthiness instruction after the Ethiopian Air disaster in which Irish aid worker Michael Ryan died alongside 156 others on Sunday. Boeing 737 MAX 8 Fact File, PA Graphics. Here is a list of airlines and countries that have grounded the aircraft so far. Ireland aviation authorities have suspended all variants of Boeing 737 MAX aircraft into and out of Ireland's airspace. Officials said they made the decision based on ensuring the continued safety of passengers and flight crew. UK The Civil Aviation Authority said it had, as a precautionary measure, issued instructions to stop any commercial passenger flights from any operator arriving, departing or overflying UK airspace. 5 737 MAX aircraft are registered and operational in the UK, while a sixth was due to come into service later this week. France. A Boeing 737 MAX 8 being built for Oman Air, Ted S. Warren, PA. The French Civil Aviation Authority has closed French airspace to all Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. Officials said France is carefully following the progress of the inquiry relating to the Ethiopian Airlines plane crash in Addis Ababa. It said French airlines do not have any Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft, but as a precautionary measure authorities have decided to forbid all commercial flights on a Boeing 737 MAX departing from, traveling to, or flying across France. Germany. The Transport Ministry said the country is closing its airspace to Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. The ministry confirmed to news agency DPA comments made by Transport Minister Andreas Scheuer to NTV television. The broadcaster quoted Mr. Scheuer as saying safety is the priority, and, until all doubts are cleared up, I have ordered that German airspace be closed for the Boeing 737 MAX with immediate effect. Norwegian Air Shuttle says it has grounded its Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft on a recommendation from European aviation authorities. The low-cost carrier has 18 of the planes. Acting Chief Operating Officer Thomas Hasthammer said, "The safety and security of our customers and colleagues will never be compromised, and once authorities advise to cease operations, we will of course comply." Australia has suspended all flights into or out of the country by Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. Australia's Civil Aviation Safety Authority says no Australian airlines operate the aircraft type, but two foreign airlines, Silk Air and Fiji Airways, fly them to Australia. Director of Aviation Safety, Shane Carmody, says that because of the two accidents, the temporary suspension of Boeing 737 MAX operations is in the best interest of safety. Netherlands Infrastructure and Water Ministry spokesman Roel Vinken says the government decided to close its airspace following advice from the Dutch Aviation Authority. Poland state carrier LOT said it is grounding its 5 Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. LOT received its first MAX 8 in December 2017. It had been planning to have 15 by January next year. Italy. The Italian Civil Aviation Authority says the MAX 8 cannot operate to and from airports in Italy until further notice. The authority said the measure is precautionary, given the lack of reliable information regarding the cause of the crash of the Ethiopian Airlines jet. Canada. Canadian charter airline Sunwing is suspending use of its 4 Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes. Canadian Transport Minister Marc Garneau said he had no plans to ground Canada's fleet of 737 MAX aircraft, but that all options are on the table. Ethiopia. A spokesman for Ethiopian Airlines says it will ground its remaining 4 MAX 8 jets as an extra safety precaution, while it investigates Sunday's deadly crash. Ezrat Bagashaw said investigations and the search for bodies and aircraft debris will continue. The airline is awaiting the delivery of 25 more MAX 8 jets. Brazil's GOL Airlines has suspended the use of 121 MAX 8 jets. The airline said it is following the investigation of the MAX 8 closely and hopes to return the aircraft to use as soon as possible. A Lion Air jet crashed in October. AP photo, Ahmed Ibrahim, file. GOL said it has made nearly 3,000 flights with the MAX 8, which went into service last June, with total security and efficiency. Cayman Islands. Cayman Airways, a Caribbean carrier, said it stopped using its 2 MAX 8 jets starting on Monday. President and CEO Fabian Horm said the airline is committed to putting the safety of our passengers and crew first. Mr. Horm said the move will cause changes to flight schedules. Cayman is the flag carrier of Cayman Islands, a British overseas territory. Received its first MAX 8 in November and its second earlier this month. China has 96 MAX 8 jets in service, belonging to carriers such as Air China, China Eastern Airlines, and China Southern Airlines. The Civilian Aviation Authority directed the planes to be grounded indefinitely on Monday. It said the order was taken in line with the management principle of zero tolerance for security risks. There were 8 Chinese citizens on the Ethiopian Airlines flight that crashed shortly after taking off on Sunday. The authority said it will consult the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration and Boeing before deciding when to lift the ban. India's Jet Airways says it is in contact with the manufacturer of MAX 8 jets and has grounded 5 of them starting on Monday. Indian Airlines SpiceJet also uses the aircraft, but it is unclear if those planes are grounded. On Monday, India's aviation watchdog ordered a safety assessment of the aircraft. It also issued safety instructions for flying the MAX 8 jet. Indonesia says it will temporarily ground MAX 8 jets to inspect their airworthiness. Director General of Air Transportation Polanabi Pramesti said the move was made to ensure flight safety. A Lion Air model of the same plane crashed in Indonesia in October. Indonesian Airlines operate 11 MAX 8 jets. Lion Air, which owns 10 of them, said it will try to minimize the impact of the decision on operations. The other MAX 8 jet belongs to national carrier Garuda. Mexican airline Aeromexico has suspended flights of its 6 MAX 8 jets after the crash in Ethiopia. Aeromexico said it fully trusts the safety of its fleet but ordered the grounding to ensure the safety of its operations and the peace of mind of its customers. It said other planes will take over the routes usually flown by the MAX 8. Singapore has temporarily banned MAX 8 jets, and other models in the MAX range, from entering and leaving the country. The Civil Aviation Authority said it was closely monitoring the situation, and the ban will be reviewed as relevant safety information becomes available. It added that it was in close communication with the FAA, Boeing and other aviation authorities. Silk Air, a regional carrier owned by Singapore Airlines, has 6 MAX 8 jets. It said the ban will have an impact on some of the airline's flight schedules. The authority said flights to Singapore by China Southern Airlines, Garuda Indonesia, Shandong Airlines and Thai Lion Air will also be affected. South Korea and EStarJet officials said that the planes will be replaced by Boeing 737-800 planes from Wednesday on routes to Japan and Thailand. She said the airline has not found any problems, but is voluntarily grounding Boeing 737 MAX 8s in a response to customer concerns. She says the planes will not be used until the completion of a government safety review on the aircraft. An official from South Korea's transportation ministry says it has yet to find any problems from safety reviews on EStar's planes that started on Monday. Oman, the Sultanate's public authority for civil aviation, announced it is temporarily suspending flights by Boeing 737 MAX aircraft at its airports. State-owned Oman Air operates 5 Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. Malaysia authorities say all flights by Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft into and out of the country have been suspended. The Civil Aviation Authority said no Malaysian carriers operate the MAX 8, but that foreign airlines are banned from flying the plane in Malaysia, and from transiting in the country, until further notice. Turkish Airlines said it is grounding all Boeing 737 MAX aircraft in its fleet until further notice. Chief Executive Bilal KSI said all Boeing 737 MAX flights are suspended until the uncertainty affecting safety is cleared. He added that passenger safety is the company's priority. Vietnam said it is banning Boeing 737 MAX planes from flying into its airspace. Dinh Viet Thanh, director of Vietnam Civil Aviation Authority, said that airlines flying those models of planes will have to change the aircraft for safety purposes. The ban lasts until further notice. None of Vietnam's 4 airlines uses the MAX model planes in their fleets, but Korea's EastarJet, Thai Lion Air and Malaysia's Melindor Air fly those planes to Vietnamese destinations. South Africa Comair, the operator of British Airways and Kulula flights in South Africa, says it has grounded its Boeing 737 MAX 8 while it consults with Boeing, other operators and technical experts. A statement did not say how many planes were affected. It said the decision was made without intervention from regulatory authorities. New Zealand and Fiji have suspended Boeing 737 MAX 8 flights in and out of the two countries. The decision only affects one operator, Fiji Airways. No New Zealand airlines use the MAX 8 planes. UAE. The UAE's General Civil Aviation Authority said its ban on the aircraft in its airspace was a precautionary measure. The 737 MAX is the workhorse of the Dubai government-owned budget carrier Fly Dubai. It operates 11 Boeing 737 MAX 8 and 2 MAX 9 jetliners. Its total fleet is around 60 aircraft, including other models of the 737. Lebanon. The 737 MAX has reportedly been banned from Lebanese airports. Online editors.